My friends, welcome to this episode of the TOGR Review. I hope you all are doing well. Roughly 7 months ago, I discovered a tent from an unknown company called MC TOMOUNT. That was their 2-person car camping tent, and it was awesome. The quality of that shelter was amazing. It was large, it had unique features, it was extremely waterproof, the airflow inside of the tent was terrific, and it was really inexpensive. Unfortunately, after my review went up, that tent sold out and it can no longer be found in the US. Not easily, at least. Fast forward in time to a few weeks ago, I was looking on Amazon for new products and I came across a brand new MC TOMOUNT tent. And folks, this one looks to be quite interesting, just like the first one that I reviewed. Because the car camping tent was so good, I decided to go ahead, purchase this backpacking tent here, and that's what this episode is all about. This is the MC TOMOUNT backpacking tent, and the episode begins now. Folks, let's take a look at this tent together and let's see what it's all about. To start off here, let's do a quick component breakdown. We have the storage bag here. It has a grab handle at the end, a draw pull up here at the top, and we have 2 compression straps. On the inside of the storage bag, we do have setup instructions. Here we have a mesh gear caddy that's included. Here we have tent stakes, and we have 12 tent stakes to be exact. Moving over to this bundle here, we have the tent body, the fly, and the poles, all of it being compressed with a compression strap that has a buckle on it. That is very high quality for such an inexpensive tent. There are tent companies out there that will charge you $400 for a tent, and they will not give you this. They give you a piece of fabric to tie the tent up with because they're cheap. Here we have the tent pole, and we might as well go ahead and open this up. If I can get it open. They've tied this in a knot. We'll be right back. So here we go. It looks like we have 2 poles here. We have the tent fly here, and we have the tent body here. To set up this tent here, we have a combination of clips and sleeves. What you're looking at here is the inner for the tent. As far as the setup process goes, it's rather easy. Basically, the poles crisscross into the corners. We have sleeves and we also have clips. This is a 2-person tent and it has 2 doors, one here, one there. When it comes to the body itself, primarily it's made from mesh. We do have a bathtub floor that's rather aggressive, and that sticks up about 1 foot and it goes all the way around the tent. We have mesh that surrounds the tent. Up at the top, we have a little bit of fabric. And as far as fabric goes, that's the only section. When it comes to a 3-season tent, having fabric up at the top is okay. You do not want fabric on the body itself. And that's because of this. Airflow comes from the toe, the head, and the sides. Airflow inside of a tent does not come from the top. With the doors here, we have 2-way zippers and corded draw pulls. And as you can see here, the doors are huge. With the doors, you can put them into the corner and get them out of the way. There's no way to tie those doors up. As you all can see here, getting inside of the tent is very easy because this door is huge. Inside of this tent, we have a ton of space, width-wise and also height-wise. We have 4 mesh pockets, 1 in each corner. We have a hanging hook at both ends. Up at the top, we have plastic rings for the mesh gear caddy. Now everyone, let's go ahead and let's measure. Width-wise, down at the floor, it is 3 feet 11 inches wide, which is 47 inches. But up here towards the top, it is substantially more narrow. We're looking at roughly 19.5 inches wide. Still, that's enough space for most people. For two people, I mean, one person sits here, one sits there, changes clothes, does whatever they need to do. The peak height is 44 inches, which is very impressive. Now, let's focus on the length here. It's actually longer than I thought it was. This is impressive, folks. We're looking at 82 inches, which is 6 feet 10 inches. To be comfortable, I would drop it down an inch or two, and I would say 79 inches would keep your head away from the mesh and your feet away from the mesh. And that's 6 feet 7 inches. So, folks, this is a very large tent, and it can easily support someone who's very tall. This, again, is a two-person tent, and there is enough space here for 2 sleeping pads. In fact, there's a little bit more space than that. You could fit some gear inside of this. Something else that I'm impressed with is all of the mesh. I can feel the airflow coming through, and it's good. With the fly on the tent, we have the following features. We have vents on both sides, which can be closed. The design of these vents is very good. You don't have to worry about water being blown inside of these because the lip on the inside goes up so high. We have 2 guy lines on this side, 2 guy lines on that side. At the head and the toe of the tent, you have stakeout points so you can pull the fly away from the body, which increases airflow. Those stakeout points are adjustable, just as the stakeout points on the doors are adjustable. We have a storm flap that goes over the zippers. With the doors, they can be rolled back and tied up to be stowed out of the way. And you can do that with both panels. When it comes to the backpacking tent, you can find this in a 1-person and 2-person version. Again, this is the 2-person version. The company claims this is a 4th season tent, which means that it's designed for the wintertime. That's not true. This is a 3-season tent only, not unless you're going to be using this in a warmer climate. This tent again has 2 doors. It is semi-freestanding, meaning the tent body stands up on its own, but the doors do need to be staked out. When the tent is stored, it is 17 inches by 7 by 7 inches. The weight of the 2-person version is 4.3 pounds on my scale. The weight of the 1-person version is 3.3 pounds. As far as the materials go, the company does not specify exactly what they are. They state the tent is made from a 20 denier nylon, and that's it. The poles are aluminum, and so are the tent stakes, and we do not know what the zippers are. When it comes to the waterproof rating, the company claims 3,000 millimeters, but they do not state if that's for the floor, for the fly, or for both. Lastly, everyone, when it comes to the price of these tents, the 1-person is $139 and the 2-person is $159. And with that out of the way, it is now time to go over my impressions of this tent. So right off the bat here, I am very, very impressed, just as I was with the other car camping tent that I tested out from this company. This tent is incredibly well made and feels incredibly premium. The materials are of a high quality, they're thick, but yet lightweight at the same time. The stitching looks good, the thread work looks good. I've seen no issues at all. All of the seams are taped on the floor, on the fly. All of the stakeout points are adjustable. The ventilation is excellent. The tent is covered in mesh on the inside. Basically what I'm saying here is this. This company knows what they're doing when it comes to tents. There's not one feature here, there's not one aspect to the design that was not designed well. And that's so funny to say this because the price is only $159. We have companies in America who manufacture tents who have no idea what they're doing, who will charge you $400, $500, $600 for a tent. And the sides of their tents you can't even stake out, so ventilation isn't that good. So you have issues with condensation. When it comes to the components, they're of a good quality too. We have aluminum poles, aluminum tent stakes, good buckles, and adjusters. The setup process, as you have seen, is very easy. There's nothing to confuse you here. Everything makes sense. The one thing that you need to keep in mind is that the poles crisscross. As long as they're crisscrossed, you're good. If they're not crisscrossed, you've done something wrong. Luckily, that's an easy fix. You just move the poles from one grommet to the other. The amount of space inside of this tent is good for 2 people. It's a palace for 1, but it's definitely large enough for 2. You can sit up, you can change clothes on the inside. Again, there's enough space for 2 sleeping pads, and so on. As far as the appearance goes of this tent, I love it. The color's an earth tone. In my opinion, it looks great. The storage size for this tent is very good. It doesn't take up much space inside of your backpack. At the same time, the weight is good. 4.3 pounds, that's very good for a tent of this size. Again, if you're 6'7", even 6'8", you can make this work. In truth, everyone, this is very, very impressive for all of the reasons that I've stated. This tent does what a lot of tents do not do. Finding a tent that's this large with these features at this weight for $159, that would be difficult. At the same time, this tent appears to be very storm worthy. We have 4 guy lines attached to this tent. The fly goes almost all the way down to the ground. Not completely, so we can get some good airflow underneath it. So, in the end, in my opinion, this tent is looking very, very promising. Speaking of which, very soon I will be doing some waterproof testing with this tent. In fact, I should be able to do that in 2 days. Make sure to stay tuned for that episode. With that being said, folks, it's a good time to wrap up this episode. I've said all that I need to say. I've shared all that I need to share. In the end, I am very impressed with this tent. I believe it's going to perform very, very well. Ultimately, the testing will show that whether or not I'm right or wrong. I was so impressed with the car camping MC TOMOUNT tent. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be impressed with this one too. Folks, it looks like I need to wrap this up. It's getting super, super windy. I'm not sure if you all can hear me. Make sure to comment down below, share your thoughts. What do you all think about this tent? Does it look promising? I think it does. If you enjoyed this episode and found it helpful, hit the thumbs up. I do appreciate it. That is a great way to support the Outdoor Gear Review. If you want to support the channel in other ways, a channel that's completely agenda-free. I purchased this with my own money. I'm here to share information, and that's it. You could do so on Patreon and on YouTube. I will be back very soon with my waterproof testing of the MC TOMOUNT backpacking tent. Everyone take care, be well, strength and honor.